Thank you for your support. The content we do is quite sensitive, so it is not possible to monetize social media platforms. Visit restoredrepublic.co to watch our latest videos and become a $3 monthly supporter. We can't afford to keep making this show without your support. Visit the link below the description or go to website restoredrepublic.co, then select Support Us. Click PayPal or fill out the form to become a supporter.
Restored Republic via a GCR. Special report as of July 24, 2021. The latest video will be shown earlier at the official website restoredrepublic.co, Judy note, on Friday morning the 23rd of July secured cards began to be sent out to over 8 million currency and ZIM bondholders that granted access to personal accounts in the quantum banking system. Delivery of those cards via FedEx was expected in the next couple of days according to Fleming's military intel contact. The packages also contained redemption, exchange instructions and a non-disclosure agreement to sign, plus a link to a secured website where one could obtain a personal 800 hash to set redemption, exchange appointments at a redemption center of your choice. Restored Republic. Also on Friday the 23rd of July disclosure began when John McAfee unlocked his dead man switch and evil deeds of previous presidents and staff was released from antivirus software that had gathered the data from government computers over the years. The demonic Democrats, deep state, propaganda media, big tech, monetary system, big banks and farm were all being exposed. This last week was one of cabal HARP and tectonic weapon-induced floods, storms, hurricanes, tornadoes, droughts, earthquakes, volcanoes, tsunamis and direct energy weapon highly focused energy laser induced fires across the West, planned to combine with their bioweapons of COVID-19 and vaccines, plus their plans to poison our food supply to create food, gas, goods and supply shortages and thus civil unrest in the near future. Worldwide crises events were expected to soon require activation of an emergency broadcast system that would combine with over 50,000 mass arrests of mainly child sex political and global elite perpetrators and coincide with release of the RV. On Wednesday the 20th of July final exchange, redemption procedures became effective. A list of all of the currencies that you bought would be in your card, along with a dollar amount of the rate of exchange. If you disagreed with the amount, or if the amount of bonds and currency you had was incorrect, you could take your currency and bonds to your appointment and correct your account. You would authenticate the card and then could use it to access your account and gain immediate access to spendable funds. The card becomes active for what's in your account the day it's issued. If you didn't receive a card for whatever reason, you could obtain a redemption, exchange appointment through the secured website which would be published on various dinar websites, plus be available in these updates. You would be given your secured card at your appointment. All currencies would be validated that the account owner was the original purchaser. If the account owner entered foreign currency, bonds, that were purchased by another person, it would not be validated. Gifting letters would be appropriate to present in order to straighten it out. Those with projects would also redeem through the redemption center via use of your personal wealth manager. To receive the higher contract rates you would have to qualify for them by showing that you were willing to put some of your funds into projects. The higher contract rates would not going to be easily given out to anyone without projects. You could negotiate a special rate by making an appointment at a redemption center and presenting your case. Your humanitarian project would be handled in consultation with an assigned wealth manager. Your information would be held confidential. Nick Fleming on Friday the 23rd of July. If you have any unusual situation you can still go to the redemption, exchange centers and explain your situation and they will work it all out. These accounts are going out globally. Nationally and globally, everyone in every participating country will have an account like this and a card. If there was currency that went missing in the mail, what do we do about this? Nick has been told it won't be a problem. Any currency you bought will show up there. What if you already have a private banker at WF? Can we work with this person? Yes. A friend and I bought currency together, and we split it. He bought it. I kept half. Just enter this info on your account, where all of your currencies are listed. How will I know where my redemption, exchange centers is? This address and instructions will come through the Safe Link websites. If you bought currency from any licensed dealer, they have your address. If your address is different, just go down to the redemption center. If the ZIM happening now or is it a later date? Take it with you now. Your account should show your ZIM right now. But it may be easier to call and get an appointment to carry your ZIM to the redemption center. Things are constantly changing here. They have started sending out cards already, today. So, theoretically, based on what they have said, receivers that access their account, validate their card, will have money on account right now. Friday the 23rd of July. The storm is upon us, Yako and 107. Facebook was developed through US taxpayer monies and was now being used against us. McAfee found that high-level people were involved in child trafficking. He tried to expose this, but everyone he went to were also corrupt. This isn't over when more people were aware of corruption in the 2020 election. We were in the middle of a war that would last until at least the end of the year. The military was in charge and recognized Trump as their commander-in-chief. The real news. Saturday the 24th of July from Telegram. The kill switch has been activated. Kill switch activated. As soon as the waters recede, expect worldwide to see the following: corpses in dumbs, ritual child abuse proof, non-human remains. McAfee revealed kill switch info and the crash of crypto. The deep state has been unmasked. Every scenario is planned. The whole world is watching. John McAfee talks about his kill switch of incriminating information with John Greenwald. If you're afraid of transparency, you're part of the problem. Pennsylvania Senator Doug Mastriano attacks the state's Democrats for resisting an election audit. Paperclip. Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton said that he supports the audit of elections in several Texas counties. Paperclip. One one-time lawyer claims that after the storming of the Capitol, the prisoners were brutally beaten, stripped, twisted, humiliated, and one prisoner was blinded in one eye. This is more abuse than in Gitmo. Paperclip. Former head of the Obama administration on Hunter Biden's art classes. Can you find anyone other than the president's son who would appear on the stage and sell art for the price of 1.5 houses? Paperclip. A former DIA agent told Tucker Carlson that a friend and part-time FBI informant invited him to the Capitol on January 6 and forced him to go inside. Paperclip. We must return from flexibility to strict measures, the head of the Turkish Ministry of Health, Koja, wrote on Twitter, calling for those who have not yet done so to be vaccinated immediately. Paperclip. The COVID-19 Delta strain will dominate the world in the coming months. This is stated in a joint release of the European Centre for Disease Prevention and Control, ECDC, and WHO. Paperclip. Florida is asking the Supreme Court to issue an emergency order blocking the CDC's COVID-19 rules for cruise ships. Paperclip. Texas Governor Greg Abbott. Texas has begun to arrest illegal immigrants who invade the state or destroy property and fences. Now they are being sent to this prison, and not released, as the Biden administration did. Paperclip. The bishop who oversees Nancy Pelosi's home diocese condemns her, saying, "No one can claim that he is a devout Catholic and justify the murder of innocent people, let alone that the government pays for it." Paperclip. The U.S. Department of Justice has dropped cases against 5 visiting researchers accused of hiding their connection with the Chinese armed forces, because some FBI analysts question the value of these cases, WSJ. Paperclip. Ministry of Labor of the Russian Federation. The number of vaccinated people in the team should be at least 80% to stabilize the situation. Paperclip. India is going to start vaccinating children against coronavirus by September 2021. The government of the country has previously stated that it plans to vaccinate the entire adult population of the country by the end of this year. Paperclip. More than 275 protests in different parts of France are scheduled for today. Paperclip. This is the biggest bubble I've seen in my career. Democrats' infrastructure spending could lead to a devastating failure in the economy, warns billionaire investor Stanley Druckenmiller. Paperclip. Rick Dennison, the offensive line coach of the Minnesota Vikings baseball team, left his post due to his refusal to get vaccinated. Paperclip. Austria's interior minister and defense minister announced at a joint press conference that the country will tighten its border security because the European asylum system has failed. Austria will send hundreds of soldiers to the borders. The situation is serious, Interior Minister Karl Nehammer said. Protests around the globe. Australia, France, UK, Italy. Now, large protests underway in many cities of Australia, France, England, and Italy against COVID restrictions, vaccine passports, and mandatory vaccinations. Australia. Los Angeles Times. Thousands protest against coronavirus restrictions in Australia. Thousands take to the streets of Sydney and other Australian cities to protest lockdown restrictions amid another surge in coronavirus cases. Australia. Anti-lockdown protests across Australia as COVID cases surge to record levels in Sydney. Chaotic scenes in Sydney, Melbourne, Adelaide and Brisbane as protesters demand end to lockdowns. In Sydney, police clash with lockdown protesters. People chanted, "Freedom," as they marched through the centre of Sydney. Officers said they had made 57 arrests. France. Thousands demonstrate in Paris against health passes, mandatory COVID vaccination, watch. UK. Thousands march in London over lockdowns. Japan. Japanese protesters rally against mandatory COVID-19 vaccinations in Tokyo. Worldwide, USA stand for freedom or lose it. July 24. American citizens are standing up to reclaim their freedom and support our brothers and sisters around the world. Rallies in Arkansas, Russellville, California, Red Bluff, Sacramento, San Diego, San Jose, Santa Barbara, Santa Monica, Connecticut, Newington, Delaware, Dover, Florida, Tampa, Georgia, Atlanta, Dalton, Hawaii, Honolulu, Maui, Idaho, Boise, Indiana, Indianapolis, Iowa, Des Moines, Kansas, Lawrence, Kentucky, Frankfort, Louisiana, Baton Rouge, Maryland, Bel Air, Michigan, Lansing, Minnesota, St. Paul, Missouri, Jefferson City, Nevada, Las Vegas, New Jersey, Seaside Heights, New York City, Madison Square Park, Niagara Falls, North Carolina, Raleigh, Oklahoma, Tulsa, Oregon, Salem, Pennsylvania, Columbia, Rhode Island, Warwick, South Carolina, Columbia, Texas, Austin, Fort Worth, Houston, McAllen, San Antonio, Utah, Salt Lake City, Virginia, Williamsburg. 2020 election fraud. As State Senate calls to decertify the election. Pres Trump. We'll never be too afraid to tell the truth, and the truth will win. Floods, typhoons around the globe. China floods. Rescue and cleanup operations underway after floods in China's Henan province. Over 100 cars were trapped in Zhengzhou Tunnel. The torrential rain, the heaviest in 1,000 years, killed 56 people in and around the capital of Henan province, Zhengzhou, as well as in Xinjiang. China typhoon in FA on path to deliver strong winds and enormous rainfall totals to eastern parts of China, including Shanghai. Considerable storm surge and inundation likely to be pushed into the Hangzhou Bay Area. Over 200 million people will feel the impacts. Bitcoin, cryptocurrency. After Barclays and Santander, UK bank NatWest blocks payments to Binance. A major high street bank in the UK, NatWest, has blocked payments to leading cryptocurrency exchange Binance. C. International child sex trafficking. D. COVID hoax. In Australia, almost 1 million people cannot leave their homes, as Sydney is blocked due to the fact that an 80-year-old man allegedly died from COVID and another 111 people out of 80,000 have tested positive. 82,000 tests, 111 positive. This is 0.135% of the total. Some of these 111 may be false positive. New evidence of the deliberate spread of COVID-19 by the Chinese military has leaked from China. An anonymous source close to the events. COVID-19 was created in the laboratory of the People's Liberation Army of China and refined as a biological weapon. COVID-19 has been specially designed so that it is highly contagious, but often asymptomatic, has a low mortality rate, but produces uncontrolled variants and has characteristics that provide a plausible denial of the possibility of using biological weapons. According to China's military doctrine, such biological weapons are used before the declaration of war for political or international strategic needs, the use of which can be refused. It is reliable and convenient. Even if academic, virological evidence and data from animal experiments indicate that the virus appeared in the laboratory, we can simply deny it, stop the investigation, suppress scientists, make sure that the work of international organizations and honest people did not bring results. A fully formed sample of COVID-19 was ready for testing in early 2019. In parallel, we developed a vaccination program with all its stages and nuances. Scientists from the Wuhan Institute of Virology participated in testing the transmission of imitation coronavirus to primates and response exercises. For example, at Tianhe Airport in Wuhan in September 2019, as well as in the actual test release of COVID-19 in the armed forces in 2019. The statement that an officer of the People's Liberation Army of China allegedly made at that time was as follows: "Give these white pigs some." The presentation of COVID-19 at the World War Games also became a test of the long-term impact of this type of biological weapon, as foreign visitors to the Games take it back to their countries, and the consequences could be observed quite quickly. The subsequent outbreak in Wuhan was completely unexpected. That is, there was no laboratory leak, but there was an unintentional spread of a virus among the Chinese population, the transmissibility of which they underestimated. Beijing learned about the quiet spread of COVID-19 by early December, but kept it a secret and allowed international flights to continue from Wuhan. Probably, COVID-19 was supposed to hit the United States, its allies and the entire Western world because of China's economic problems and the trade war that Trump was waging. If COVID-19 undermined the integrity of the U.S. Army, China would put pressure on Taiwan, possibly invade, and the uprisings in Hong Kong could be suppressed under the guise of public health measures. If China avoids responsibility for COVID-19 and its biological weapons program is allowed to continue to exist, one more deadly attack is likely to occur. The latest video will be shown earlier at the official website restoredrepublic.co.
Thank you for your support. The content we do is quite sensitive, so it is not possible to monetize social media platforms. Visit restoredrepublic.co to watch our latest videos and become a $3 monthly supporter. We can't afford to keep making this show without your support. Visit the link below the description or go to website restoredrepublic.co, then select Support Us. Click PayPal or fill out the form to become a supporter.